is this? I never in my wildest dreams thought we would ever be able to share with you guys a view literally lying head to head with a big male leopard as he consumes his kill. It's a pity he didn't make the kill himself. He stole it from his girlfriend early this morning. But how fantastic are these views? He's got up, literally headed straight to the kill. We swung Ronald around, drove him up to the kill, and we are very, very close to him. I'll say we are less than half a meter away, and it's absolutely magical. These views we're getting, perfect afternoon sunlight coming through, and now we're going to show you a little bit of a two-shot of both the rover just in front of Tingana and Tingana himself, and you can see that he's just going about his business unperturbed by its presence, and it is just so close to him. So we've got ourselves into a very, very fortunate position here. Now, I'm not sure if the rover picks up audio. It must. It must pick up audio. Because it would be incredible, now that you're so close to him, it would be incredible if we could hear his bone-crunching jaws doing their business as they go about eating. But I don't think you will be picking up any audio from there. You'll just be listening to my audio overlaid over his picture. And I'm very happy to hear that there's a lot of you that are expressing your excitement about this absolutely fantastic view. I mean, the fact that this is coming to you live all the way from South Africa is just absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, to get these shots and edit them and cut them together is one thing in itself, but the fact that you guys have the joy of enjoying this from the comfort of your own homes, or some of you, your offices, we won't tell your bosses, is quite fascinating. Ali Rover, you ask an interesting question. You would like to know what would happen if he smelt the scent of another leopard on the rover. It would be very interesting. I guess he would phlegm and grimace and, you know, pay a bit of interest to it, but he knows full well that it's not a leopard. And the fact that, oh, he's just got a nice big hunk of meat there. And Seb was just motioning for me to record, but I'm just letting this whole scene record non-stop. So the main thing to remember is that a leopard would need to scent mark and really rub itself up against the rover in order for another leopard to be able to smell it. And I think it's unlikely that any leopard would do that. So I don't think it's going to be problematic in any way. And it looks like he's actually edging closer towards Ronald to give you guys a better view. Look at how ridiculous this is. Now, I'm wondering if we shouldn't invite some of our other friends who don't follow us every minute of the day, but do follow us on various other social media platforms, because this is just such a unique angle that I think it may be worth sharing with as many people as possible. But maybe we'll do that once we've spent a little bit more time here with him, with all of our old faithfuls. And it does also sound like Herbie, who's on a bushwalk this afternoon. He's leading his first bushwalk this afternoon with James and camera. It sounds like he may have something interesting on the go, so why don't you go and head across and see what's happening on foot with Herbie.
Welcome back. Welcome back again. We still have a long visual of our elephant bull. He's joined by one of his friends over the crest, but we are still in the middle of quarantine. we were just hoping that he will come down back to the marula trees, but unfortunately he's moving away from us. And yeah, we are, it looks to me that that's a breeding herd. I can see more elephants coming out of the thickets. So in this case, we are still in a safe position. We'll still view them from a distance, but while we're still here with these marula trees, I'm still confident that they must still come back to this open area of quarantine where the marula trees are dominating. And I know for sure that they love marula trees. These marula trees, they didn't happen here naturally. There have been some of these areas where you see the marula trees dominating in a particular area. It actually tells you that that is one of the disturbed areas, in a sense that long time ago, like 20, 30 years ago, there were people living in that particular area. So the marula trees dominating an area indicates that these particular trees have been planted because the locusts were getting lots of product from the marula trees. In a case of jam, the marula beer, the nuts, the oil, and of course the nuts. And in this case, as you can see here, instead of them traveling long distances, as you can see these alleys, because these areas were not fenced, they actually interacting with these elephants, which was quite dangerous for them to move from one area to another. So it makes it easier for them, instead of traveling long distances when the marula trees are on season, to bring them very close to their yards and plant them. So when they are on season, they'll get them very close to their house. So as you can check here, this big tree here is one of the trees where they're using that particular tree. For upset stomach, you peel off the bark, boil and suck the juice 3 times like you do with the tablets. And to our right here, at the base of that particular tree, that's also evidence that the locusts were actually eating some of these jackalberry fruits. So for them to bring them very close is the same as they were doing with the marula trees. Very close to us, it's a silver cluster leaf, very shining leaf. That's where the name silver cluster leaf comes from. So these they were also using as a medicine. You'll actually see that they are dominating in this particular area as well, because when people or the locusts get bitten by snakes, this is the right tree to use. You actually chew the leaf, which is full of very strong tannins. You apply on the side of the bite, it sucks out the venom up until you go for further treatment. So they were always safe. They were living with these, or they were interacting with these elephants, but they were always safe. Oh, hi. How long do the trees normally live for? I'll take this as an example. They live for years, like 150 years maybe, or over. It depends on the particular soil of those of that section. So they live long. There's still lots of evidence, like I can see the white berries here. They're also eating the white berries, which are also good for us. As I track these animals, I'm still living in the very same area where those locusts were living. But unfortunately for them, they are now off outside the fence. This belongs to us now. We're conserving nature. We're not here to destroy. Jackson, do elephants see humans on foot as a threat? Yes, they do. Remember, the very same elephants that we see today, they were under a big threat. They were hunted. They were under culling. So completely different experience. You'll actually see the reaction of the elephants to humans on foot than if someone is driving a vehicle passing the elephants, because the behavior of those particular elephants has got something to do with history. What happened to them before, because there was culling going on with the Ellis, there was hunting by the locals. They've got very good memories. They still keep that in mind. So they see humans as a threat to them, not their friends. While doing so, we will cross over to Scott.
Well done, Herbie. It sounds like you are doing a great job out there, and I hope you guys all have your notebooks out, taking down some natural remedies that Herbie's been sharing with you. We've just been marveling at this incredible scene as Tingana continues to snack on the remains of a duiker kill that he stole from his girlfriend this morning. And is this not just the most ridiculous view you could ever have imagined to be enjoying with Tingana? It certainly is for me. Seb and I keep looking at one another in disbelief as to what's going on. And I'm very happy we managed to work through the myriad of tech issues that we were plagued with when we started this afternoon's drive with old Ronald. Now, I did mention earlier that we are thinking about inviting along with us this afternoon for this exciting and unique view some other viewers on other platforms. I'm just going to keep quiet for a second and then welcome them on board. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Sabi Sands in South Africa. We are sitting here with a big male leopard as he feeds on a kill that he stole from his girlfriend this morning. But furthermore, we have deployed Ronald the rover, which is a small camera on a little motorized vehicle, and we've sent that into him, and we are now, well, shortly going to show you some incredible views from about maybe 2 feet away from his nose as he chews on the duiker. So we'll show you where the rover is now quickly. It's kind of semi-camouflaged with a few green leaves. It's just in front of him, and he's been very... He kind of sat up and looked with him, but with a little into a decent spot, and he's completely relaxed with the rover, and that is why we have got these incredible views. Sorry everyone, that didn't work, so we'll try that again. Let me just try and remember what I said. Only kidding. Okay, so we're going to go back onto the rover cam now whilst Nikki tries to work out what went wrong with that action broadcast. And we'll probably try again shortly in a couple of minutes or so. But here he is, continuing to enjoy his evening snack. And what Seb and I just did realize is that we're fairly confident the GoPro will be recording with audio. So not that that's a huge amount of use to you at the moment, but at least for some of our pre-recorded footage that we do use from time to time, at least we will be able to pull the audio from there. And I guess now that we have understood the need for audio on the rover, maybe we'll be able to fix that too and have a small little microphone for Ronald to be able to hear everything a little bit better. Now watch as he crunches through this bone. I think he'll make his way through this entire foreleg, and he may just leave the hoof at the end. Now watch closely. Sometimes you will find the hooves in their dung, but a lot of the times they will swallow it. It kind of does depend, but I'm guessing he is going to leave the hooves of the duiker. It's usually the young animal's hooves that they will consume, not necessarily the adults. Look at this. absolutely crazy. And he is making short work of that bone. Now, don't be fooled. Even though that bone is quite narrow and not very thick, I mean, if you were to give that to us and, you know, we tried to snap it with our 2 hands, I don't think we would be able to. It's surprisingly powerful, not surprisingly, but incredibly powerful jaws that are managing to mince their way through that. Well, like I said, watch closely. As he gets to that end section next to the hoof, it'll be interesting to see what he decides to do. Now, Tingana, we're going to be watching you very closely going forward, so we're going to have a far better idea of your dining etiquette and your table manners. Oh, it looks like he moved a little bit closer to the rover there as the leg kind of skedaddled away from him. Okay, very good. So let's try our action broadcast one last time. And I'm going to keep quiet for a second and then welcome everybody on board. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this live safari in the Sabi Sands of South Africa. You can see a big male leopard chewing on something there. He is chewing on a duiker, a small antelope that he actually stole from his girlfriend this morning. His girlfriend didn't even have a chance to have a bite of it. He heard her made the kill, ran into the area, and then stole the kill. Now, what's interesting about this afternoon's drive is that we've deployed one of our foot soldiers. It's a small camera on a motorized vehicle called Ronald the Rover, and we'll show you to him now. He's just in front of Tingana. And as Seb zooms in, you will notice that there's a kind of little black box there with some green leaves on it. That's a makeshift attempt at some camouflage. And on the front of it, what it's like to lie head to head with a big male leopard as he crunches down on a duiker. Can you believe this view? And I'm astounded by the fact that he's been so relaxed with this little machine. We haven't used it much around him. Today's literally been the only day that we've exposed him to this machine. And I guess it's just a smaller version of the vehicle that we currently are sitting on. You know, it makes its little noise, it moves around, and it provides no threat to him. It's not stealing anything from him, it's not hurting him. And the fact that it is so small, I mean, I guess it's not very intimidating. And that is why we've been able to get these absolutely incredible views of him as he snacks. You'll notice there's a lot of flies buzzing about. Now, I bet a lot of you didn't think in your wildest dreams that you would be watching a leopard feed on its kill from no further than a foot away from its face. So, I hope you're all as excited as we are. Brenda, it says that you are reiterating how amazing it is that he is so relaxed with Ronald. And yes, it is quite fascinating. You know, for me, I think it was always just going to be a matter of time, Brenda, that he would quickly realize that this is of actually no threat to him. But the fact that it happens so quickly, you can see he's looking off at something else there. Who knows, maybe it's his girlfriend Tundi coming back onto the scene to see if she can steal any of this food from him. I'm leaning back and looking in the direction that he's staring in, but I can't see anything for the time being. But I am going to keep a close eye on that area. It could also be that it's a bit of a windy afternoon. He may have seen some grass or bushes blowing in the wind and thought that was the movements of another predator. He does need to be cautious of hyena and lion, because if they caught wind of this kill, they would come charging in and try and steal it. Thankfully for him, though, he's got incredibly quick reflexes, and he would be able to skedaddle, probably with the kill in his mouth, up a tree out of harm's way. Brian, it's wonderful to have you watching us all the way in snowy Scotland. What I would do to have a few handfuls of your snow plonked right onto the top of my head right now. We are baking down here in South Africa, but thankfully the evening is beginning to cool off a little bit and we are parked in the shade. And please do let us know how you guys are feeling. Send through your comments. Jason, you've just commented, wow, so very close. And yes, indeed, it is actually ridiculous how incredible these views are that we are sharing with you. And the fact, again, I must reiterate that it is coming to you 100% live is absolutely mind-boggling. Well, at least it is for me. And credit to all the technical wizards that put together these little machines that we get to play with, and that piece together these pictures to send to you in high definition around the world in real time. It is quite something. And we do have a team of geniuses working on all of our toys and equipment and improvements. So thank you to them, because without their wizardry, we would not be enjoying this meal with Tingana, the big dominant leopard of Djuma, here in the Sabi Sands. Now, there's a little bird that's just popped onto the scene, and it's so beautiful that I can't not resist showing you. There's a blue waxbill on this dead branch here. Oh, it just flew off. But we'll get it next time. And it's important to remember, whilst enjoying sightings of the kind of big characters and stars of the African wilderness, that there are a lot of smaller, more interesting, well, not more interesting, but equally interesting in their own rights. Cordy, you love the way that this male leopard is plucking the fur from his kill. And I also enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching that awkward movement when they try and kind of push their tongue out of their mouth to dislodge the fur that's stuck to it. And they try and remove as much fur as possible, but it's difficult for them to get all of it off. So what you'll find is they do ingest a bit of fur, and they'll cough out fur balls and also poop out a little bit of fur that makes it into their stomach. Sean, you wondering why he hasn't taken this kill up into a tree where it will be a better spot for him in terms of safety, and not just him, safety of not losing the kill to other animals. And yes, I think definitely it would make sense, but what you tend to find is that leopards, as a general rule, eat as much as they can on the ground where it's more comfortable for both, or for them. They also don't have the risk of dropping it down from the tree, which they do obviously when they're up there. But yeah, this guy, like I said, does have the ability to move very quickly. Oh, there he's moving again. You can see the ears of the poor little duiker and the head now as he moves about. And what you tend to find is that they will move closer to trees as the evening progresses, or if they do have a big kill, he will hoist it up into a tree to come back to feed on later. But there are no set rules, so to speak. You even find some leopards that hardly hoist their kills, Sean, which is quite interesting. And they often do lose their kills to hyenas. So they're not the sharpest animals. You know, I think a lot of the time we give wild animals sometimes a little bit more credit in some departments than we actually should. Well, this has been absolutely incredible, and I hope all of you that have joined us briefly have enjoyed these incredible views of a big male leopard chomping down on a duiker. If you'd like to continue following this live safari, it's got another hour or so maybe left. You can do that on YouTube. Just type in Safari Live. Otherwise, keep a close eye on any notifications. Sorry, there's only 30 minutes left of our regular sunset safari. Thanks for joining. We'll see you all next time. Okay, everybody, just had to have a little bit of a random awkward silence there as we said goodbye to everyone. And now we are back in action. You can see the setting sun there, just in the corner of the screen, glinting through the leaves. And what an absolute treat. I've been completely spoiled since I've been back. I've had 3 drives, all of which have contained leopard, 2 of which had Thandi and her cub. This morning I got to see all 3 of them, and it's just been absolutely epic being back after 2 weeks away, getting spoiled with these incredible moments and scenes. Sadly, Noelle hasn't had the same fortune that I've had over the last few days, but maybe, just maybe, she will get lucky towards the end of the safari as she continues her search for Thandi.
Welcome back. We are at the edge of quarantine. It's inside of the open area with these signs telling me the presence of one of the potential dangerous animal responsible for many human deaths in Africa, which is a hippo. This is one of the terrestrial signs of a hippo bull which came to defecate and switch the tail to spread the dung as a sign of the territorial marking. So if you're walking here and you come across this, and we're about to track this hippo, this tells you that this is no longer fresh. The grass is very dry. The chances of you finding these hippo are very slim. So you rather go around and see if you pick up more signs of this hippo. This is how you tell the freshness of any sign that you get on the ground or up the trees. So while we're doing that, we just move around and see what other evidence can we get as a sign to indicate the presence of some of these animal species. From a distance, I can tell that tree has been disturbed, not just from the earliest, but there's a shining part that I'd like to go and show you. And now talking about, I can see more evidence on the ground, some very, very fresh tracks here. Remember, I'm a very, very good tracker. I know exactly which animal walked past here. These are wildebeest tracks, very fresh from today. And I know there's a head of a wildebeest living in this particular section here. They walked past this area. And of course, over here, the shining part, as I've said, we came to see that a wildebeest, which I think is one of the territorial bull, came to rub itself here. Now, question, is there anyone to help me who knows exactly why that wildebeest bull came to rub itself here? So, while doing so, I'll actually, there's more evidence of these wildebeest here. These are wildebeest dung. They look more like buffalo dung. This is not fresh, possible from this morning, since it's dry already, but there's lots of evidence. It's not just one wildebeest living in this particular area, but it looks like a head. As you can tell from the tracks, they're all tracks. They're small, which belongs to the babies. That's big ones, big tracks, very big tracks. And also, there's evidence of impala droppings, which means the impalas are staying together with this head of wildebeest. For it makes it easier for them to detect or to see danger coming from a distance, not just from the impala side, but from both species. You sometimes find the wildebeest together with zebras, with impalas, with waterbuck, and also with nyalas for safety in numbers. It's quite easy for them to spot danger from a distance. When they are in a big group, then yes, you correct, Messi. This is a wildebeest doing a scent mark. We all know that wildebeest are very much territorial. You find that a wildebeest bull will come and wrap itself in a substrate like this, leaving all the signs or the scent that the other females or the other bulls to come and pick up and stay away from the area in the case of other bulls. But of course, the female, as soon as they get to this area, they will smell or they pick up the scent from the preorbital glands just below the eyes of the wildebeest. And in this case, it will be easy for them if there's one of the females visiting that particular area where the male, when he comes back, he will actually come and sniff, tell he will actually know that there are females here. So in that case, smelling the urine of that particular female, it will be quite easy for him to know that one of the females is in ostrus. And of course, he will try and make sure that he corners that particular female and making sure that it doesn't cross to the neighboring property for the mating purpose. These, you correct, Messi, this from a wildebeest preorbital glands. Not just leaving the scent on these, but also on the, by scratching on the ground, leaving the pedal glands just between the hose, by scratching on the ground. So it's quite easy for them to pick that as well. And in this case, we'll keep going around and checking what else can we find. While doing that, I think Noel has got something for us. While still checking around, why don't we go and see what he's holding for us?
Yes, well, he moved the kill ever so slightly and is in a slightly different spot, so we don't have the best view with Seb's camera, but Ronald, our trusty roving friend, has managed to wiggle his way into a great spot, and it looks like Tingana is now busy starting to feed on the skull, the final little bit of this duiker that was caught earlier this morning. And now you can see that we're back on the rover cam, that you do have quite a graphic view of him starting off with the ears, and he could well crunch his whole way through that entire skull. That is the most ridiculous view I think one will ever see. And I'm sorry if laughing was offensive to any of you, but I mean, it was just the most bizarre scene, a leopard looking in one direction with the duiker's head pointing out in the other. So forgive me for giggling there, but I did find it quite funny. It was just the most ridiculous scene. I'm not sure what caught his attention there, but like I said a little bit earlier, it's quite a windy evening, so as the light begins to fade, he will start getting more and more cautious of any objects rustling or blowing in the wind. But it seems like he's timed his afternoon perfectly in conjunction with our sunset safari, because it seems like he's going to finish his dinner just as we finish our evening safari. And it's just been the most incredible learning experience for us and Ronald and all of you, and I'm so happy that we were able to share with you these incredible scenes. Who knows when next we'll get an opportunity to do this with Tingana or with any other leopards. I must reiterate that our main aim here is to go about habituating them and getting them as used to Ronald as possible, just like they are used to the big vehicles that we drive around in. And that way we'll be able to bring you more incredible, intimate views just like this one we are enjoying right now. If any of you have just logged in, the camera that is filming him is probably no further than a foot or two away from him. I don't think we've got a view of Ronald from where we are here now. Now you can see we're back on Seb's cam, and not much of a view from here. I guess I could reposition, but I'm just so happy with Ronald's view that I thought we could sacrifice our view because Ronald's in a good spot. But let's reposition quickly. And I was just taking some pictures. Just putting the camera down. Okay. Now we've only got a minute or two left, so I'll be quick about this repositioning. There we go. Oh yeah, and we've got another animal here. A stick insect that was crawling along the monitor of the car. Oh, sorry, I think I need to move my hand back a bit because I was too close for focusing. There we go. How crazy. It's all happening here, but let's show you some final views of Tingana before the safari comes to a close. We'll put the stick insect on a tree there. It's going to be far more comfortable. And there you can see Ronald's little red light at the back there, and a little bit of haphazard camouflage. And now we are back onto the Ronald view. Whew. Well, what an afternoon it has been, and I'm hugely happy and grateful that Tingana has seemingly accepted Ronald as a neutral subject, just like us. Oh, this might be a bit graphic for some of you. It looks like the brain's on the menu now. But interesting stuff, and we are definitely going to get some more fascinating views. We're going to learn a lot. Different light thanks to Ronald and his handiwork. So I hope you all enjoy these fantastic low-angle views, having a snack with a big male leopard. It's been great fun. A big thanks to everyone involved in terms of our Safari Live crew, and of course you guys for supporting us and keeping us entertained on the safaris. We'll see you next time.